Jane Clementi, whose son Tyler was a student at Rutgers University, died by suicide in 2010 after being cyberbullied. Also joining us, CNN's Dr. Sanjay Gupta. Jane, so many Americans and so many members of the gay and lesbian community were so impacted by your son's death, and you've been very vocal in the wake of this. Why do you think this crisis affects so many gay, lesbian, transgendered youth?
Well, as our foundation, my husband and I did start a foundation after Tyler had died because of all the great conversation that was started. And one of the things that we found is that gay youth are also more likely to be bullied. And of course, not all bullying situations end in the terrible circumstances that Tyler's did, but they still suffer great consequences. Much of the same mental health issues that lead to suicide are what many of the gay youth that are being bullied do, and which is why we are more interested in the foundation of going towards prevention to try and prevent suicide and prevent bullying in that respect. So one of the things that I saw with Tyler's story was that there were so many people that saw what was happening to Tyler, and no one spoke up. And then I learned when I started learning more about bullying is that people in most bullying scenarios have bystanders that see what's happening and they say nothing. So we want to turn those bystanders into upstanders. So that's one of our initiatives.
It's also hard for, I mean, we've talked about this a little bit, for a lot of people to reach out for help. I mean Tyler had recently come out and was obviously going through issues, cyberbullying issues, which he probably didn't talk to you about. So it's often hard for somebody to reach out. They don't want to bother somebody else, even a close family member.
Yes, and also we thought something about that transitional time. He wasn't really fully acclimated into the culture of Rutgers.
Those transitional times are really hard, out of school, into school.
He wasn't at home, he wasn't in daily contact with family, with friends, and that transitional time is very, very difficult.
Yeah. Jane, you've been very open about what you yourself struggled in the wake of Tyler's death.
Yes, I agree that I think that when you're in that deep, dark place of despair and isolation, that you don't see the resources that you have all around you. Our family was certainly warmly supported, and people from my community before Tyler died, as well as we've been warmly embraced and welcomed into the LGBTQ community as well. But when you're in that deep, dark place of despair, you don't see those resources or that support. And
you had the impulse of suicide.
I did. Because as a mom, I should have known what was happening. I should have known what was going on. I should have known, and the what ifs and the could haves and the should haves all just circled and spiraled out of control.
How did you get through that?
I had professional help, which was great. I guess my faith, God was very present for me in that space and time. And it was just a matter of one moment, one day at a time, using other coping skills like journaling, professional help, as I said, being supported by friends and family members, which you don't really see. I mean, many people would say, well, you have two other sons, or you have your husband, you have so many people, but all I could feel was my loss. And I never felt like that ever before, and I was never not prepared for my whole world crumbling apart.